Hello, 7th grade. How are you today? I thought we would get going now and start working our way towards HIV/AIDS. And in doing so, we're going to go with journal number 55. You're going to continue with your journals. I believe we only have about 4 left, maybe 5, maybe 4. I don't know. But journal 55 says, describe at least 3 signals your body sends when it's getting sick. And speaking of journals, you should have turned them in last week. If not, please do so. Like I said, I was hoping to get them. So there is journal number 55. And on the next page, I have a little quiz that you can take on your own. This is something you can do right there at home. It's asking how healthy are you? There's 10 questions, simple yes or no's. This is something we would have done in class, assessing where your health is today. And then I would do this pom-pom activity. This is one of my favorite activities, but we're not together, so it's very difficult to do this. So I'm going to do my best to try and explain it to you utilizing toys. There we go. Now, we're going to take some toys here. What would have happened in class is you all would have gotten super excited because I would have given everyone a little cup, and inside that cup are 3 little pom-poms. Now, the pom-poms are of different colors. For this lesson, we're going to have 6 participants. We're going to have Pokemon, who has yellow, Baymax has red, Goofy has the blue pom-poms, Charlie Brown has purple, Bumblebee has pink, and Dracula has the green pom-poms. I also would have given you a card, an index card. You all would have wrote your name down and what colored pom-poms you have. What I would have allowed next is not allowed today, but I would have allowed you to wander around the room with these directions. The directions would be that you are to make a minimum of 3 trades, but no maximum of trades, but you only were going to have 3 minutes to do so. But in doing so, as you walked around the room, you were to write down what color you received once you made that trade. So keeping it simple, going at the bottom, if Goofy and Baymax saw one another, Goofy would now write red on his index cards. Baymax would write down blue because that was the first 2 pom-poms that were traded by each one of them. And you would keep going throughout this lesson for 3 minutes. Now, the idea was for everyone to have 3 pom-poms at the end. I would have told you to go back to your seats, and then you all would have been sitting down like the amazing classes that you are. Now, you definitely would not have 3 pom-poms anymore, but now instead, I'm going to get rid of these. You would now have different pom-poms. Sorry, I'm like holding this and you got my big hands here. But we would have swapped it out. And I did this pretending like everybody made 3 trades. And I just had cups here to make my life easier. Now, as you can see, everybody has different pom-poms. Now, some people might have ended up with the same colors that they started with. It could have been that people were walking around the room and some people intimidated them. You know how it is. You had a crush on that person across the room and you wanted to trade pom-poms with them. That was a lot of fun. Then there's other people who don't like others, so maybe not in my classes, but I'm sure it happened. But anyhow, throughout this, people went and traded all their pom-poms. And here's what I would have said next. I would have said who started with the red pom-poms. Now, I already know in this example, Baymax would have started with the red pom-poms. And then I was going to tell that person to stay standing. Now, in your class, there would have been more than one person with red pom-poms. But now that Baymax is standing, I would ask the following people to stand. Please stand if you have traded for a red pom-pom. Now, it just happened to work out where I have Dracula here We have Bumblebee here, and we have Charlie Brown here. Goofy and Pokemon do not have red pom-poms. And now here's what I would have said. Baymax was the person who started with a disease, an infection, a virus, whatever you want to go with. And he transferred it to those three characters, Dracula, Bumblebee, and Charlie Brown. Now, these people were lucky in the back, named Pokemon and Goofy, because they did not get the red pom-pom. But sometimes there's a chance where it could have actually happened, because I had told you that if you had a red pom-pom to stand up, I was keeping track. I would have told you, and I told you that you would have kept track. Goofy actually made 4 trades. So now, Goofy also had gotten sick. Now, Pokemon, where's my finger? It's over the thing, sorry. Now, Pokemon never made a trade for the red pom-pom, so he did not get sick. But all these other people in this activity did. Now, I only use 6 people in this example. In your class, we have more than 6 people. I'm pretty sure we have about 30 plus. Imagine how many people now are not standing. It gets to be a little scary, and that's where we are, honestly, today. And this is what we're going through right now in our world, okay? Here's where you go with our definition, and this is not a COVID-19. This was going to be a regular lesson that I would have done anyhow. But a disease is any condition that interferes with the normal or proper functioning of the mind or body. And a communicable disease is a disease that can be spread to a person, an animal, or an object. Now, the next thing I would have done is I would have went up on the board and we would have done an activity where you had to try and guess what the difference is between a virus, an infection, fungi, pathogens, bacteria, germs, and protozoa. But you don't need to, because I'm giving you all the directions right here. And here is how people can catch and spread germs, because that's what this is all about. People getting sicknesses from others. And it could be direct contact with others or indirect contact with others. This is where you've been hearing about this in the news a lot with a droplet spread. Contact with contaminated objects. And again, please understand, this isn't only what we're dealing with today. This is all the time. These are things that we should know by now, okay? Airborne contamination, contact with contaminated food and water, and this is unfortunately where our current situation started with, and then contact with animals or insects. Sometimes you've heard about somebody getting bit or something along those lines. There's a lot of different common communicable diseases out there. This is the lesson I used to have. I'm looking at it now and realizing, well, I guess we can put coronavirus as something else, but these are different types of diseases that people can get. And then there's a lot of things that you can do to reduce the risk of infection. Washing your hands frequently, practicing abstinence, do not touch sores on another person's body, use antibiotics only when necessary, cover sneezes and coughs with a tissue. Most of you do these things already, but this is just the reminders, and we've been getting it a lot. Do not share personal items. Do not use injected drugs. If you must, use a clean needle, but you shouldn't be doing that anyhow. Do not share needles used for any reasons. Keep insects and other animals away from food. Keep your fingers and hands away from your nose, eyes, and mouth. Get appropriate vaccines. And today and this week, I've just added practice social distancing 6 feet apart. I'm hoping in the future we're not always going to have to be 6 feet apart, but that's where we are, okay? Just giving you an idea as to where we were, and what I wanted to share with you is the following. Why is my hand there? Okay, I moved it. Good. Okay, listen. Come close. Come really close. Can you see me? Good. I got to ask you something. 2 things. Number 1, I'm hoping you are practicing social distancing. And doing your best. I get it. The weather's getting really nice outside. I want to go out there also, but please maintain distance from everyone. I do not want to hear about you going out with 15 of your friends on a bike. That's just preposterous. In my town, we have kids climbing on buildings because they are so bored. I get it, we're bored, but the idea is to keep this contained. So please be smart as we go forward. Secondly, this is the one where I really want you to listen. You're my favorite seventh grade. You're my favorite seventh grader. I'm going to tell you that right there. Yeah, you, right there on the other side of that screen. Yeah. Maybe I'm saying it to all of you, but either way, you're my favorite seventh grader. So please keep this in mind. As you're doing all of your work, most of you, all right, 8 out of 10 of you, are doing a great job in doing the work on time. But you know what really just bothers me tremendously? The ones who are doing it late, because then I got to go back and fix it. Please don't do it late, because it's a lot of extra work at home. And I don't know about you, I'm not enjoying this too much. I'd much rather have you in front of me so I can be sarcastic right in front of you. Please get your stuff done on time, because then I got to keep going back and filling in those grades, and that's not so much fun. But I do miss you tremendously, and I am hoping that you understand all of this. Next week there will be a 100% lesson on HIV/AIDS. You can now click as done after you watch these two films. This film, I gave you a little brain pop about viruses, and then I found an amazing video on YouTube about COVID-19. It's actually put out by the CDC, which is I'm sure you've heard about a little in the news, but I thought it was really good. My heart was racing a little by listening it, because I just felt like it brought everything home, and I wanted to talk to you a little about it, but they did a much better job than I can. But this was your lesson that was going to be coming your way anyway about getting sick. And speaking of having fun, I am going to take you to this little area because I got to run. I am going to go watch the movie Scoob with my family right now, which is not good for the movie industry, but I like Scooby-Doo. So be safe. I will talk to you next week about HIV/AIDS, and bye-bye.